Everyone's pretty consistently dead so far. And in no small numbers. Dead inside. Don't dead, open inside. Oh. This is my hideout. Sure is convenient how everyone died. There we go. I can make it mine. There's even a fire that's always burning, burning, always burning. Got a workbench. Got a door I can open. Excuse me. Ah, that's how you leave the zone. Okay. So this hideout's a little unappealing because you have to load into it. Right, there's a stash, so it instantly has all my stuff in it. Be a magic. I guess I should clear this out. It's probably not a big zone. Hey there. Feeling good? Nice and clean. It is great having your weapon absorb blood. Alright, what do they have on them? Watery, rich blood sample. Oh, blood as addiction. Vampires drink blood. This may be their most specific trait, the sinister peculiarity of their condition, if I may say so. But for me, this is not the most important characteristic of their diet. What has always fascinated me, since I started to study them, is the imperative need for blood they seem to endure. They want it more than anything, and this desire can drive them to expose themselves. And when they drink it, they seem to feel some sort of short trance, an ecstatic epiphany, said to me once a Volkod I interviewed in Moscow. I'm convinced that this is an essential element to understand the nature and condition of the vampires. They don't drink blood because it sustains them, but that it offers them ecstasy. Vampires are addicted to blood, all of them. It is part of their nature, and those among the immortals who refuse to submit to their appetite by the strength of their will only are never freed from this addiction. From Unveiling the Night by Usher Talltree, Primate of St. Paul. So that just explicitly tells us that, like, we just don't need blood to survive. It's just an addiction. A little disappointing, actually. You just, because it makes this less about moral grayness and more about, like, you're just a Sith. Like, it's just you are Jedi or Sith. Are you disciplined and going to just reject this thing, or are you going to give in to your, basically your drug addiction and just go for it, and it hurts people because it literally is fatal every time, and it doesn't even, you don't even need it. That's a zone leaving spot. There's a few of those. So it's a pretty small area. Give that workbench a shot, huh? Nothing to research at the moment. I could craft the light blood serum. Sure. Looking at upgrades. Got my nice strong cudgel. It's already strong. Can get stronger, but I need a whole new type of thing. But I can get one of these. Wait, did I get this yet? No, it's still level 2. I need this. I need 3 more common handle parts. Let's get this opened. I should have actually checked what was in there before I opened it. Oh, the Swanborough Cordial. I already got it in my inventory. If you recycle it, all you get is a glass vial. So, my hopes are dashed. In that I can't analyze it to find out that it's bullshit. It doesn't show up in that menu. Unfortunately. Ah, level 2. Add 3 points of stun when the weapon hits. Go for it. Tiny common handle parts. So I got up to the next level, but I'm gonna have to save more for now. But it's stronger now. Cool. Which door should I try? I don't know. There's a few of them. It feels weird to be stocking up so much experience. But every time you rest, more people get sick. And other things can happen in the story. Although part of me wants to rest just to see the thing update. And see how much worse the hospital gets after I kill one dude. As an instructive kind of thing. Is that supposed to be flickering like that? I guess I just got a drop. Bop. Is this the other door? No. I do wonder where the other doors went. They might all just be pretty regular exits. Friendly. Are you NPCs? You're NPCs, okay. Easy to be spooked because I've been attacked on sight so much.
Come on, Barrett, you know the game. You pay for peace of mind.
Can't you just look the other way this week, Joe? Come on, we can sort it out, right?
It's not my call, Barrett. You pay one way or another.
Please, Joe. How long have we known each other? We even used to be neighbours, for Christ's sake.
I'd prefer not to give you another beating, Barrett.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reid, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
He seems nice. So likable. Oh, he's gonna be around for a bit.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
As you might expect, these people are somewhat less talkative than the people in the hospital.
Welcome, sir. Please take a browse of my wares.
I'm Dr. Reid. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? I always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Yes, she's a nurse. and quite a good one. What did she do to gain such notoriety?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
How is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
Well, you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Right then. Show me what you have.
Anything cool? Tiny common handle part. Tiny good handle part. You need a lot of pieces for these handles, don't you? He at least sells some upgraded materials I can use. Common handle part. Unfortunately, I can't view my upgrade screen from here, which means I have to have it like written down what my upgrades are I want. Or just check, then go back in. I need 3 common handle parts. Three common and 3 tiny common. So I don't have to deal with the really expensive stuff yet. Might as well.
Fancy buying something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you?
Oh, he'll be around for a while.
Right then. Show me what you have.
No. He only sells 2 of each, doesn't he? Alright, well, I'm gonna have to find 1 more of each at this point. I'm so lucky. Well,
where's my money? You again?
It's hard to believe.
What do you want this time?
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Most people don't become thugs when unemployed. This is a choice you made.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Let your guard down, sir.
Thought I heard someone else near here. Did I imagine that? Ah. A group of 3 now. I need to find the middle person to flesh out this relationship.
Fancy buying something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you? Joe Peterson. He's the villain here, isn't he? But you seem to know each other.
I'd known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice. He was a friend then. But these days, he's just another thug.
And no one has ever stood up to this thug.
Nobody would be fool enough to stand against the wet boot boy.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer, good one even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
Without making excuses for him, it's safe to say that despair can poison even the sanest mind.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
Alright, we're slowly fleshing this out. Might want to find my way to the actual character I'm here for, though, if I can. Darius Petrescu. Oh, yeah, I was right there, and then I went that way, and the door I need to go through was right there. Just skirted right by it. Without, I actually didn't realize how close I was. There's the curfew sign. Don't even know where that goes. That's one of those ominous going down into the side of roads. That makes me think I'm gonna go walk into some sort of like bloodborne ambush. Alright.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close the door, goddammit. Fuck you. Oh, he's got bronchitis. Hey, I could fix that if you stop being a dick. Can I see him through the window? More windows back here. If this opens, nope. Wasn't I there earlier? Isn't that the same guy that's trying to... The same guy that's trying to, blackmail people? Oh, that's Darius. Oh, that's Darius. He took off. You've been very naughty.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be from Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nithercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
And today the scriptwriter's favorite word is machinations.
They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Alright, we'll follow up then. More people to meet. More people to measure their blood quality.
Price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
That sure looks like a church.
Protection against malevolence and trickery.
Would you say that you want to watch out for the machinations of malevolence?
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reid, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
So you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in our country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
God damn it, he's hard to kill.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
I literally thought fire is a joke and then he said it.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I send him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
I have heard enough for tonight. Goodbye.
Music has ruined the phrase "as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death," just the same way that ProZD has ruined the word machinations for me. My machinations remained undetected. And who might you be, sir? The census officer?
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reid.
Dr. Reid, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
And how long is your forecast? Damn. Gonna have to do some work on you.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
Yeah, who needs awareness of how to not die to one of the most lethal diseases in history? We'll just fucking just quiet, we'll clam up and spread zero awareness. It'll work just as well for AIDS later on. We'll just keep not talking about problems. That's how diseases get fixed.
If no one stops it, this epidemic could turn into a scourge. It may kill more people than the war itself.
Yes, this is another kind of war, but just as deadly. History will judge us all for what we did and what we did not.
What the fuck? Wait, what the fuck? He's just like, yeah, everyone's a monster if they don't just do all they can about this thing, while talking about why not. Was he supposed to be like sarcastic when he said about why the newspapers aren't covering it? And like dismissive and like annoyed because he wants them to cover it? Because he sounded like he was completely complicit in it.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
Oh, he also talks about himself in the third person, huh?
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
If he's an independent journalist, then maybe that's why? Huh. I do get the feeling that the voice actor was supposed to be like sarcastic when he talks about like not depressing people with news from home.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I must confess, some of my rational views have been shaken by recent events.
I'll remember to stay away from the district's roughest streets then.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm a doctor, Mr. Darby. I care about everything involving public health and this epidemic.
Are you sure you're not just concerned about the repercussions that a scandal involving a certain Nurse Crane from the Pembroke Hospital would bring?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious, never goes out, doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He has no relatives at all?
No, except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nithercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
He never goes out.
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Try not to be in a stabbing, you know, because of all the stabbings. It's not a happy place to be in. Can I go inside the church? Can I go inside churches at all, come to think of it? Which, are we doing that rule or no?